Real talk. She's so cool and she rocks. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE Pierrere. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE Pierrere. Let's go. She's so cool and she rocks. She's so cool and she rocks. Real talk.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk with DERLINE Pierrere. I am so looking forward to speaking with my next guest. We are definitely going to be aware of whatever we were not aware of before, but most importantly, we're going to be real with each other. So we hope that you are going to be appreciative of the information that we have to bring forward to you. But most importantly, we hope that we can make you laugh, because real talk, you never know what's going to take place. Again, this is Real Talk with DERLINE Pierrere. My name is DERLINE Pierrere. We'll be right back.
Real talk. She's so cool and she rocks. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE Pierrere. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE Pierrere. Let's go. She's so cool and she rocks. She's so cool and she rocks. Real talk.
Welcome back to Real Talk with DERLINE Pierrere. My guest is the prestigious, the doctor in the house. Who needs a doctor? I do. So you hear her laughing already. I told you this is Real Talk. We're going to be very informative tonight, but most importantly, we're going to be real. So, Dr. Judy Cineas. Did I pronounce it right? Cineas?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Judy Cineas. Welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you, Darlene.
You look fabulous, actually.
Thank you. So do you.
Well, thank you. We try.
That's how we do.
I like that. Okay, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. So tell me a little about you.
I am Dr. Judy Cineas. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I work out of Palm Beach County. I have a private practice that is online. And I've been in the field for about 20 or so years now.
So you started when you were 2
and a half.
2.5? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I had to grow up.
You had to grow up a little?
Yeah.
So you weren't stuttering, you were talking
Exactly.
full sentences?
Come
Gotcha. So 20 years, congrats.
I know, it's so weird to see,
Yeah.
realize how long it's been. But yeah, it's been, if you look at undergrad, the work that I did before I started working towards being licensed, I've been in my field even longer.
Yeah.
Because I went to FAU School of Social Work when they were first starting.
Oh, wow.
And I was one of the first.
Graduating class?
I was the first class to graduate after they got accredited. Like the
Okay.
program was so new when
wow.
when I went through, they hadn't even completed the accreditation.
Wow.
So I was the first class that graduated from the accredited program. Which was pretty cool.
You know, they have a saying, when you love what you do, time flies when you're having fun.
You know what? Time has definitely flown. I swear. I remember I was 16, and then we lived in Hyde Park, and we had a little birthday party for me, and when I was 16, and then I'm 45. So it's like there's a whole bunch of missing years.
Like, what happened? What happened?
I am missing a lot of years.
So how do we find those years? Do we need to go into a time portal and
I don't
travel
know.
back?
All I know is I remember being 16 and then,
That's it.
yeah. So, I don't know.
Well, maybe somebody can let us know what happened to from 16 to 45. That's what? How
Like
many years?
29 missing years.
What? But in the process of those 29 years,
I've done a lot.
what have you done?
Well, I am, as I mentioned, I'm a licensed clinical social
Yes.
worker. I have a private practice, and I'm based in Palm Beach County, but I work with clients throughout the state of Florida because as a, your license in
It's for the
Florida.
state.
Exactly. So I work with clients throughout the state. I do a lot of work with basic mental health. I do a lot of your depression, anxiety, couples counseling stuff. I do a lot of critical incident debriefing, which is something that happens when something major happens at an organization. They
Yes.
bring a clinician on
Yes.
site to help people process. So that's
Yes.
one of the things that I do.
So that's one thing that intrigued me about psychology is when September 11th took place, you know, a lot of the people who were jumping out of the buildings to try to save their lives, the family members were watching this on TV. So they needed clinical.
Exactly. I think after September 11th, I think a lot, if not all of us, needed some type of help.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it wasn't available. And even to this day, a lot with everything that is happening everywhere, a lot of us still need to have an outlet to process all the stuff that we're going through. This morning, I was in a training, and they were talking about September 11th, and then next thing you know, we're talking about Surfside, and
Wow.
because our community, our
Yes.
world
Yes.
goes through a lot of things.
Yes.
So it's always important to make sure that we're taking the time to deal with the stuff that happens.
So we're going to jump right in
Sure, let's
because
do it.
our community, I know there's a lot of taboo topics. I used to have a show called Let's Get Real, and we gave young adults the platform to call in to talk about the taboo situations in their household, in their schools. You know, they're 16, 17, they want to have a boyfriend. Ask the mom and dad, when can I have a boyfriend? I'll tell you when you're old enough. And then dads wants to say 30 and 35 and 40,
Exactly.
which is not realistic, but you know, that's their baby girl. So let's talk about this. Mental health is so important in every aspect of our life, period. But when we're going through a traversity, or we're going through something, or something happens like a death or a pregnancy, a miscarriage, things that we think are so mundane that are very serious, why aren't we seeking help?
Well, a lot of times in our cultures, Black, Haitian, a lot of people often talk about it's for those other people. It's
Who are those other people?
everybody but us.
Oh,
Like everybody but me, everybody but you. Like 'cause
Okay.
we look at over the years, our society made it seem like mental health was not a part of the human health. That if you had issues with your mental health, it's because something was wrong with you, that you were weak, that you were this, and not realizing that mental health is a part of the overall human health. We did not know that. They taught us that we didn't have time to have mental health. We don't have time. We're too busy struggling to have,
and it's the struggle that's causing the mental health.
Well, they're struggling because their
And the
mental
mental
health is
health
not
is not-
right. If your mental health is right, you're not gonna be struggling the way you think.
That's true. That's
Because
true.
when a part of you is not right, everything is magnified.
That is so true, because I think I was saying that to my son. I said, you've ever bumped your nose and your eyes start watering, your mouth starts watering, you can't function.
No, anytime something is wrong, everything else is magnified.
Yes.
If you have your arm is broken, all of a sudden, like you stub your little toe, and
Yes.
it's like it feels.
Yes, it feels like it broke.
Yes, whenever things are, and remember, your brain is it's the command center.
Yes, energy. So
Your
it feels
body
things,
is your body is interconnected.
Yeah.
So if something is going wrong in a piece of it, everything else, like when especially with these new cars where everything is computerized.
Oh my
like,
God.
my friend recently, I think it was like her light cracked or something. Next thing you know, she parked her car at the airport, comes back, she had to have it towed.
Because it wouldn't charge.
Everything's
connected.
connected.
Wow.
And that's the way our body is. Everything is connected. So when we don't take care of a piece of it, everything else starts breaking down. Like you don't realize that. Okay, you're thinking, oh, it's just it's nothing. It's just I can do this. I'm not these people. I don't have to work. I can't have depression because I'm busy.
I don't have the luxury.
Yes.
I don't have time.
Exactly.
I have these kids to feed. I have this business to run. I have this husband to take care of, or this wife to take care of. And what I appreciate with mental health counseling is that it doesn't discriminate.
No. Well, mental health is human health.
Yes.
So if you are human, you have health. If you have health, you have mental health. And because you have health and mental health, that means that just as with your physical body, at some point something can go wrong. Something can go wrong with your mental health as well.
So let's talk about what can go wrong with our mental health.
Everything.
Okay, let's talk about
the most common thing that we have that we see are the anxiety and depression. There are a lot more. There are a number of more long-term chronic illnesses, like when you start talking about bipolar disorders, PTSD, and
schizophrenic, and
those exist. I know Haitian people think that they can't have it. Yeah, they exist in every community. Oh,
you have to be careful. Voisin, you know, because I got this new car, because I'm wearing this new dress, because I got this new blonde hair.
So we often believed, or they used to teach people that, oh, if something was wrong, which is why in Haiti we never really talked about those things. But all of those are things that are happening when you have the more chronic illnesses such as a schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or something like that. But those are people with chronic mental health disorders. But some of us who don't have chronic illnesses, we do experience things too. Any person at any given moment can experience depression because there are so many different things that can trigger a depression. Anxiety.
COVID, there was a lot of depression cases, more depression cases during COVID.
Actually, one of the things I would love to get, I've been trying to figure out how to get money to do a study on post-COVID depression, because what I noticed was that it seemed like a lot of the people who got COVID, sometime after they recovered from COVID, were experiencing and displaying symptoms of depression.
Oh, wow.
So I started talking to people about post-COVID depression because, and that we don't know how long it lasts or or how big it was, because I was seeing it around me, but I wasn't there. The studies were not there to tell me the details of it. So it was like, hey, be careful. This is happening. I'm noticing this, making sure that people understood it.
Okay.
But one of the biggest things that we're having now is anxiety.
Yes.
There's a lot going on.
So explain some of the symptoms or what is being manifested when someone is going through that stage.
Anxiety, one of the things that you notice is a feeling of uneasy. You're always pressured. You always feel like you're on edge. And it sometimes it feels like your heart is racing a mile a minute. Like your heart you can't stop long enough. And one symptom that people often mention is the constant worry. It's not just that you're worried, like, oh, I'm just worried about this. It's like it's there
continuously all day long.
And it's very intense to the point where you might be sitting there, you're jittery because there's so much going on in your body. Your body can't sit long enough. So it's a lot that the body is going through. And a lot of times people have this thing of, it'll pass. It will pass as soon as you do something about it.
Yeah. And what can someone do about it?
Lots.
Okay, let's talk about what we can do.
Because first things, when you start let me go back.
Yeah.
With any type of mental health issues, any type of health issues, I always tell people, pay attention to differences. Because although there are all these descriptions and symptoms that I can tell you,
everybody
we all experience them differently.
Yes.
One thing I sometimes talk about with depression in children looks very different from depression in adults.
And even young adults.
Depression in adolescence is completely different.
Yes.
Because we often think of depression as melancholy and super low energy, staying in bed. People have depression and go to work. Your teenager has depression and they are a terror. They are breaking and cussing and doing all these things. And you're thinking, what is wrong with this kid? This kid is like the demon. But the child is not the demon. The child is struggling. The child is hurting.
And they don't know how to express that. They don't have the vocabulary or the...
They don't have the vocabulary, but if I break something,
Yeah.
somebody's going to hear me.
Yeah, somebody's going to
If
acknowledge.
I hit somebody. So a lot of times adolescents, they when they're going through stuff, you can see it through their behavior. Children, they may not be as aggressive, but they may be a little bit more disobedient.
Yeah, rambunctious.
Or become that those mean kids. Half the time
That hit other kids.
the kid's not mean. The kid is just hurting.
Yeah.
And
they want to get that hurt out, but they don't know how to express it or how to ask for help.
They don't have the vocabulary, especially when you're looking at, most adults don't have the vocabulary to say something hurts.
Imagine.
So if you don't have the vocabulary, how are you going to teach a child?
Yeah.
So it's changes in behaviors are usually the best and most effective way to notice that something is going wrong. And once you see it, don't sit on it. Don't just wait like, oh, you know what? It's going to pass. I'm going to give it a couple of days.
Going through these ages or going through the teenage years, it's the rebellious years.
There is, with all the resources available, it's ridiculous that people still are sitting there and suffering when you could actually just get help and deal with the problem.
Because I think most insurance, if not all insurance policies, have that period as part of their plans.
Most insurance policies have mental health services that are covered, but there's something else that most people have they don't realize, which is something called an EAP, Employee Assistance Program.
Okay.
Yes. Every employer, just about, I try to not say every employer.
Because you might have small employers that cannot.
Maybe a smaller company might not have it, but a lot of small companies do have it, have access to something called an EAP, an Employee Assistance Program. And through the EAP, you usually have access to counseling services.
Nice.
On average, they will pay for, I've seen 6, I've seen 16 sessions that they will pay for with a therapist.
Okay.
And these are, and it's not one of those like you go to HR and you sit there.
That's what I was going to ask. Is HR involved? Are they going to be getting the report from you?
No.
Okay, so it's total privacy.
The best way to make sure that you have the highest level of privacy, when you find out when you go to your benefits portal or during whatever
open enrollment,
and they're telling you about EAP, take that number and save it.
Yeah.
If you save the number, then when you need it, you don't have to go ask somebody for it.
Because you'll have it.
But if you don't have it, you can always go to HR, and most employers, they have the number somewhere.
Okay.
If you walk
probably in the break room.
Exactly. A lot of employers have it out there somewhere where you could just go grab the number and make the call. If you don't see it and you don't see it in your benefits portal, you can always reach out to someone in HR and ask for it. But you call, they connect. Many of them have 24-hour support.
Nice.
Where you call and you'll be able to talk to somebody right then away. And there.
Nice.
And then they will give you a list of therapists who are part of their network. And then you can call these therapists, make an appointment, go see your therapist for your 3 sessions, your 6 sessions, your 16 sessions, and there's nothing else. Like, that's it.
So there's no report being sent back to your HR department or your job, okay? Because I think some people may not, they may be leery to use that platform, thinking that their boss is going to use that. Or that's why their job performance is not that good.
No, your job performance is not good because you haven't been working. I've done actually EAP work for, I would say, maybe a good 10 plus years.
Nice.
I've never had to report to an employer.
Okay.
This is what's this is
Going
what
on
was
with
said.
Darlene.
No, I've never had to do that.
So that confidentiality stays there.
Stays.
Okay, good.
And even HR doesn't even get a list of, hey, these are the people that called. It's
good.
just the way it works is every month. Let's say your EAP is your EAP administrator is Cigna. Every month, Cigna sends a bill
report.
to the Cigna sends a bill,
To
not
the
a report,
HR.
a bill to the company that says, hey,
So many hours
Nope.
were used of EAP? No?
the company pays per employee.
Oh.
So if you have 5 employees and your charge is $1 per employee, so every month the EAP administrator is going to send you your bill for $5,
Okay.
and you're paying it.
Okay.
If all 5 of your employees come, $5.
Okay.
If none of them come, you still
pay
pay the $5.
Also, it behooves the employees to utilize
tell people,
that.
'cause
Okay.
in-
So
if-
then the employers need to encourage them to use it because they're paying it regardless.
They have to pay it regardless.
Okay.
But and sometimes they mention it, but people don't.
Yeah.
Like I've had organizations where we go in and one local organization, one time they did a health fair and they had me come out, and I came and I spoke with the people, just kind of reminding them, making sure that they know that, hey, do you know that you have an EAP? Do you know what an EAP is? Because it's regardless of what, if you don't use it, they're not gonna say, you know what, Darlene, you didn't use your EAP. Here's your dollar
Here's
this
your
month.
dollar this month.
No, they don't give you that. If you don't use it, they still have to pay for it, and you don't
So
get a
they
benefit.
can check with their HR, or they can check with the
Look at-
benefits
Look in your benefits
portal,
Check
and they
with-
can get that.
or look if you go into the HR or the break room and see if you find something that says EAP or something like that. Yeah, but it's there, it's available, and I really highly encourage people to use it.
Well, listen, mental health is real. Anxiety is real. Whenever you feel a part of your body or a part of your mind or a part of your psyche is not up to par, that's your body talking to you. Our body's the best computer. It tells us what's going on. It tells us when we need to drink more water, when we need to get more sleep, when we need to cut back on the alcohol, whatever, you name it, it tells you. We just don't listen. So we'll be right back, and we will elaborate further on how you can get assistance should you feel or should you think any of these symptoms are being manifested. Again, you're watching Real Talk with Darlene Pierre-Lewis. We'll be right back.
Real talk. She's so cool, and she rocks. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE PIERRE. Bonjour information, zéro besoin distraction, so entertaining. Her name is DERLINE PIERRE. Let's go. She's so cool, and she rocks. She's so cool, and she rocks. Real talk.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk with Darlene Pierre-Lewis, and I have the honor and the privilege to sit across this beautiful, fabulous diva. Yes, Dr. Judith Cineas. And she is going to continue to elaborate on how our mental health needs to be protected, how the benefits available through our jobs or even through other platforms, some free resources that are available, we need to take advantage of it. So Dr. Judy, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So we'll elaborate more on EAP.
Sure.
We'll tell people what it is, and then we will tell them how they can go about getting use of that benefit.
Well, the symbol of EAP is that it's a free service. It's a free service that you have access to, that you earn through your employment. By being an employee of that company, you have the right to that service. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention, you with your EAP, You have access to it, your spouse as well as your children have access to it.
Even if they're not in the insurance plan?
Your EAP has nothing to do with your insurance. Your EAP has to do with your employment.
Oh, wow.
So it's for the employee's spouse, as well as their children.
That makes sense, because if something's bothering your spouse, it's impacting you, which will impact your job.
Exactly. The goal of EAP is for the employee to be right.
Oh.
So we want to make sure that whatever is can be done to make sure the employee is right is done. So if that means that we need to make sure that your child is right, your spouse is right.
Yes,
so
I like that.
Everyone, and some EAPs are even more generous, where they will extend it to members of the household, which means that if you're not married but you're living with someone, that person has access to it.
Nice.
The other part of it is that sometimes you can have your EAP and your spouse has an EAP. I always tell people, when you're gonna go look, call your EAP and call your spouse's EAP.
Yeah.
Because they will both give you a list of practitioners who are in their network. So if you look in your list, and I'm on your list, and I'm on your husband's list, that means that you get your 6 sessions and your husband's 6 sessions.
Oh, nice.
And then when your husband needs something, he gets his 6 sessions
Plus
and yours.
That is cool.
And there's a lot of ways, because a lot of times we don't get help because people think that they can't afford it.
Yes, it's going to cost them too much. I barely can pay the bills.
Exactly.
I can't afford to do this. I'm just tired. I just need to get some sleep. Oh, I put on a few pounds during COVID. I just need to lose some weight, and I'll be fine. And it's getting worse, and it's festering and festering.
Emotions are like 5-year-olds. If you've ever seen a 5-year-old that wants something, they'll come in and like, hey, mommy, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? It just gets worse and worse and worse. And that's exactly how emotions work.
Feed me. What is it? Feed me. There was a cartoon years ago, a show. It was a plant. Seymour. Feed me, Seymour. It was a plant. It just kept getting greedier and greedier and greedier.
The more you try to ignore them, the louder and more intense it gets. At first, it may be that you're just feeling a little different, and then you start feeling worse and worse, and then now you're not paying attention to the emotional stuff. So now it starts to get physical. So now you have a little headache, and then you have a big headache, and now your head and your back hurts.
Wow!
Because
it just manifests. The body is telling you, "Hey, your body's wrong with me. Help me."
Exactly. Your body's asking for attention, and you're not giving it to it. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna just keep breaking down until you eventually stop and pay attention to me. If your body breaks down enough to the point where you can't get up, you're gonna have to
get up and go see a doctor.
Exactly.
And a lot of time we go see our physician, and then they tell us you need to go see a mental.
People, a lot of times, because a lot of in our communities, there's such a stigma around it. People don't want to do it. And
I don't want to go see no shrink, and I'm not crazy. There's nothing wrong with me. I just have a mild headache. I've had it for 5 years,
but it's mild.
It's a mild headache.
But that's the thing, though, is that people think that if they ignore it long enough, it's going to go away. The only thing that makes it go away is actually dealing with it. And even sometimes people will go to a doctor and get medication for depression.
Wow.
It helps. But what the medication does is that it numbs it out so that you're not feeling the intensity of it, but you still have it.
What's the source? Where is
until you take the time to deal with the source of the depression? It's there. You can take medication, but as long as you're not addressing the source of the depression, you're just going to have to keep taking medication in order to mellow out the symptoms.
And I'm glad you're mentioning this, because a lot of us, and I say us because I only know us. I can't talk about any other culture, race, or whatever. But I remember when I was going through my divorce, it was such a traumatizing time for me. I made sure that my kids went to go see a counselor, and they each went to see someone different. So they had their anonymity, they had their own private person they can freely talk to. And I remember my younger son coming home saying, "Mom, do you know who else in my class parent are getting a divorce?" I said, "Baby, whatever you discuss in your group, you can't discuss it." He's like, "Is it a secret?" And I had to remember, because I have a degree in psychology too, I had to remember, no, it's not a secret, but it's confidence. You have whatever you speak in that room stays there. Because if you say a secret, something serious might happen and they think it's a secret, or somebody harming them. they might think it's a secret. So we have to be careful the words we use at that age. And I think he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So, but people were like, "Oh, you wasting money going to see a counselor?" They didn't realize, listen, this is, yes, I have the degree, I have the training, I know how important it is, but I needed somebody to talk to that wasn't my mom, that wasn't my sister, that wasn't on his side of the family. I'm not going to talk to anybody on his side of the family. But if they're your family, they might be biased. They might not really tell you. And plus, can you really divulge and be totally honest and vulnerable with them without being judged?
That part too, being able to freely open up to someone is important. But the other thing is that we sometimes forget is that you're getting the experience, the expertise, and the knowledge base that this person
You're
has.
neutral, you're third party, but you also have been trained on how to really actively listen to what I'm not saying.
Exactly.
The words that I'm not using.
Exactly.
But the emotion, I might say, "Oh, I'm very sad right now." That's mixed. I'm saying I'm sad, but my face is smiling.
Exactly.
Or I could say, "Oh, I'm so happy." But I'm crying. My face is not expressing the words that I'm using. So I get that.
It's important to have that external piece, because there's a lot that a lot of people think that because it worked for me, it's going to work for you.
Yes.
Or you should do it.
Yes.
Or this is what I did. But they don't know your situation. They just know that, oh, when I was going through a divorce, I did X, Y, Z, and that was it. One thing I always tell people, the person who is the most vocal, the loudest about how important it is to how unnecessary this is probably the one struggling the most. And sometimes they may be struggling and just hiding it.
Denial, saving
face.
face.
And sometimes the person could be going, but they don't want you to know.
Tell you.
So because they don't want you to know, they're gonna talk as like bad about it, tell you how it's not necessary, depression is not real, or if you're depressed, you just need to get up and go.
But they're getting the service, they're getting the help that they need, and they don't want you to get that help because they don't want you to know that they're getting it.
So there's so many levels of complexity involved with this thing. It's just important that don't worry about other people, just worry about you.
Take care of you.
Focus on what do I need for me to be okay? What do I need to do for my own?
So I know this month, I don't know if it's the whole state, but I know Palm Beach County has deemed October 28th as Creole, cultural, and language. But the whole month of October has a different, is it international?
You're talking about depression awareness. I believe that is a worldwide thing, or if it's not, it's at least here in the U.S.
In the U.S. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that,
because it's part of the effort to remove the stigma around mental health and around the mental health issues such as depression, where people are feeling like it's necessary for them to hide when they're going through these things. When we're talking about Depression Awareness Month, it's one, realizing that depression is a real thing. It exists, and it not only does it exist, it happens to humans.
Yes.
It's not any specific kind of humans, it's just the humans.
Yes.
If you are a human person, it could happen to you.
Are you human?
Well, it's debatable.
Is it?
People have questions.
They have questions?
Yes.
Wow.
I do too.
Oh, that's scary. I'm moving away. Help me. But I like that you said that, because even as a counselor yourself.
Actually, you know what? On my YouTube channel, one of the videos I did, I think it was like 2015. I was actually, you know him. I was having a conversation with your friend.
I know who you're talking about. Okay. And then it's crazy, but I think I know.
So we were talking, and because it was just a year that I had so much going on. I had stomach issues, I had shoulder issues, and the doctor put me on this medication, and it was like when she opened the box, there was like the medication and the depression, so it was like almost like instantly I started feeling weird, and I'm having a conversation with him, and I was like, yeah, it's just been weird. Like I've been having this depression, and then because of who it is, I was like, I'm not telling you this to go to tell other people, and I was like, no, I don't care. So I ended up doing a video about it on my YouTube channel, because that's one of the things that I do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm the one that's telling people,
to come and get the help, and now here you are.
And it wasn't about not getting the help. It was like, he does talk too much though.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, it's not
so
even
because
him.
of
Let's
that, it was
take
like
him out. But you
that
are
it was
in that
like-
field.
And I was like, nah, that doesn't work. So I did a video. I'm like, yeah, this is what happened. I was talking to my friend, and I told him I'm not telling him this. So I decided I need to tell everybody then.
Good.
So yeah, I did the video, and
And
I
you don't
talked
know
about
how many people you helped. I hope there were
the
feedbacks.
weird thing was that after I did the video,
Yes.
and usually I'll do my videos and I don't share.
keep them to yourself?
No, they're online, but I don't really ask people to share or none of that stuff.
Okay.
It's just, it shows up on my socials if you see it, whatever. So this one, I did it and I shared it on my socials, and I actually asked people, I'm like, if you see this, I need you to share it. Because, and then people that I know, people inside my circle,
Yes, you didn't know.
were telling me that, oh man, I totally get what you were saying.
Your
with this.
vulnerability allowed them.
Because they was like, yeah, I've been doing this. Like, people started disclosing. I was like, I kind of got my own issue. I wasn't ready for this.
Oh my God.
But it was helpful that once they saw that and one of the questions I asked was like, if you saw me this past month, because it had been like, it was almost a month in. So I'm like, if you saw me this past month, did you know? And of course, everybody who saw me like,
No, of course not.
because I did everything. I was going to work. I was doing everything I normally did.
You put on your mask. You put on your face.
I don't think I was even putting on on a face. I was just going through the motions. I was doing all the stuff, because usually people expect depression means
You're
you're
sad,
in bed.
you're in your bed, you're in your pajamas,
It
you're
was
not
like-
combing your hair, you're not eating.
I was out. I was doing everything I normally did, but it was like there was an
This
elephant.
weight.
There was an elephant sitting on my soul.
Oh my
like,
God.
I don't like. I can't even. I couldn't tell you if you said, "Where is your soul?" I can't point to my
Yeah,
soul right
but
now.
you felt
but
it.
I knew there was
Yeah.
an elephant on my soul, and it was like that. But people don't understand that at any given moment, I was a happy, healthy, regular,
Yes.
everyday person. But just like that, I was put on a medication, and right then and there, depression came.
Yeah.
And even after I stopped the medication, it took a
was
few
still there.
weeks
Lingering.
for the effects of that. So, and people will lose a job,
Yes.
or going through
Yes.
something.
Yes.
At any given moment,
Yes.
something could happen that
Yes.
triggers a
Yeah.
depressive episode. And if you don't take the time to deal with it, it stays.
See, I'm the happy-go-lucky. A lot of people don't know anything about me. I have my inner circle, and I still have my son that lives with me, but most of my other girlfriends, their kids are out of the home, or they don't have any children. So there's like 5 or 6 of us, all professionals. We have our careers, we have our this, we have our that. And every so often, I said we need to reach out to each other, because I don't know what you're going through. And my mother usually says, when you're thinking about somebody, you just reach out to them. You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Send a text. If it's not like them,
Don't
hold
send
on.
a text.
No, send a text. If it's not like them, to not respond an hour or two later, because I might send a text now and she's at work. One of my girlfriend is a mental health counselor, so she might be in a session, and then she has to debrief before she goes to the next session, so she probably don't have time. But on her drive home, or before she goes to bed and I don't get a response, I'm calling her.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing too with me. And I had this moment right after my divorce, and I've been divorced 19 years. I was in my bed paralyzed. I could not move.
Yeah.
And I never locked my bedroom door because my kids were little. We have a policy, you knock and you come in. And that night, for whatever reason, I locked my door. I don't know if I was changing, I locked it, and Rich went to bed, didn't unlock it. And I heard my little son knocking on the door, "Mommy, it's time for breakfast." And I heard him. I wanted to talk, but I couldn't open my mouth. Like, you felt like an elephant in your soul. It was covering my whole body. Like, I was sinking in the bed.
The weight was that, yeah.
I was sinking in the bed. And I remember my mom saying to me, whenever, she's like, "You're going to have moments." These women of wisdom. I need to get them around, and we need to record them, because they're passing. They share some nuggets, and when you least expect, they come back to you.
You remember it, yep.
She's like, no matter what you're going through, you're going to have moments where you're going to totally lose who you are. You're not going to know who you are. and you need to have a fond memory of your purpose, your true purpose. And my son just kept knocking on the door, and I just felt like this jolt. I thought about an image, and this jolt just jumped, and I stood up. Girl, I didn't go back to bed the whole day. I was still in fear. So I called my sister, who's a nurse, and I explained to her what was going on. And she's like, yeah, you know, you had a loss.
Yeah.
It wasn't a death, but it was still a loss.
Still a loss.
Your father of your children are not here anymore. Yeah, you both may have wanted the divorce, whatever, but there's a loss.
You still have to grieve.
You have to
grieve it.
Yeah, and there's 7 stages of grief. And I read that book over and over, but guess what? They don't come in that order. They can come. You can be stuck in the denial. You can be stuck in denial for 10 years.
It's nice. It's a nice, pretty little outline.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. But it doesn't go.
It doesn't go in order.
Your emotions don't care what the book says.
They don't care.
No.
That's what you're feeling right now. And then I started feeling like a failure because I didn't finish my PhD program. I was just like everything. Like my
remember what I was
ended.
saying when I was saying when one thing is going wrong, everything is
magnified. And I think that's what it was. The weight of everything came crumbling down on me that night.
Yeah.
And it was a good several months after the divorce. So it wasn't like that weekend of the signing or whatever.
No.
But I started feeling like a failure. I started feeling like this. Okay, so my marriage didn't, and I didn't want to be this statistic black woman with raising black boys in America. I'm not having my kids go to prison. I'm not having this. I'm not having that. And I think I over pushed myself.
Yeah.
And it just came crumbling down on me. So from time to time, we check on each other.
It's important to do that. And that's one of the most effective ways to know what is going on with the people in your life. And one thing, I think,
and it's got to be a safe place for them to feel that they can share that with you.
Well, you need to. Well, that's it. Actually, when I did during I think it was like suicide prevention. I did a series of series of videos, and one of the things that I often talk about is being a safe place for people to share, because a lot of times, you know, on social media, everybody's like, if any of my friends is ever feeling blah 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 yada yada, I'm here. And then you're sitting there, you're posting that on social media, but you're being nasty and mean and rude and all.
Yeah,
all
that's
sorts of
not a
ratchet.
safe place.
You're not a safe place if you're ratchet. If I see you talking certain things about people, but being that safe place, and we all know who the safe people are in our lives, in our circle. And I tell people, it's important that we check on each other.
Yes.
But it's not just like, I know I heard you with the text. I'm like, because
the reason is because we're professionals and we're usually with clients, but we have our system. So normally at lunch break or whatever, or in between clients, I would call back or I would text back. So if we don't do that, then we know you call.
Checking in, there's no texting and checking in, because when I could text you and you were like, yeah, I'm okay, fine. I'm good. But I can't see from the text.
I got you.
That you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, we'll talk later though. But we talk later. Like we touch bases. We don't talk every day, but at least like with my mother, at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week, we're talking.
Exactly.
My girlfriends, we're touching bases. Like you'll see a text. Good morning, beautiful. I didn't hear from you last night, you know? And I'll say, oh, I was running late. But we have to do that. We have to have people in our circle that we feel that are safe for us. But if you don't have these people, and you have a job, and your job provides this service to you, please take advantage of it.
Even if you have people, I might be your friend, but I don't want to be your therapist.
Oh, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
So we need another segment. This was a lot. Thank you so very much for coming on board. I feel like I had a therapeutic session here, but that taboo needs to be nullified. It needs to be voided. It needs to be erased out of our mind. When you need help, you get help. If my check engine light comes on, I take it to the mechanic. So if your check engine light in your head comes on, or in your heart, or you're feeling sad, you're feeling angry, you're feeling whatever you're feeling that's not different. Sometimes there's no real feeling to it. You just feel strange. You feel different. Check with your mental health counselor. Check with a friend, safe friend. This was Real Talk with Darlene Pierre Lewis, and my guest today was none other than
Judy Cineas.
Oh, throw in that doctor girl. You work hard for it.
Dr. Judy Cineas.
Exactly. You worked hard for that, okay? Thank you very much. We will see you next time.
Real talk.